Hello, I'm Kieran, and today I'm joined by someone many of you will recognize as one of the first friendly faces you see when you walk into ESL, Yassine. Yassine is a receptionist here at the Elizabeth School of London and is originally from Algeria. In this episode, we'll hear about his experience learning English, adapting to life in the UK, and helping students from around the world every day. So, welcome, Yassine.
Thank you, Kieran. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. So, let's start with your story. How did you come to work at ESL, and what do you enjoy about your role here?
Before joining ESL, I used to work at a hotel, like a few restaurants before, so it was hospitality, but my background was not in hospitality, it was actually in English language and linguistics specifically.
Hmm.
And back in Algeria, when I was at university, I did a bit of tutoring, just like around studies, nothing full time. And then I moved to the UK after that. And then hospitality came like a few years. I worked there, and then now like I'm getting back into education, and yeah, and a few years after, and here we are at ESL.
Okay, and are you enjoying yourself here?
Yeah, it's good to be back in like an educational setting, being around students all the time, lecturers. It's really nice. It's a good feeling to be back.
Okay. Well, you touched on it a little bit here, your kind of background with English. So let's start at the beginning. When did you first realize that English would be an important part of your life?
So in Algeria, we start English courses like from the year eight. At least in my generation now, it's much earlier than that.
Hmm.
So in year eight, we have English as one of the modules. It's about 2 hours a week, and we had a really nice, passionate teacher. Like she was really passionate about what she was doing, and like I think she had the biggest influence on me. Like, and I loved her sessions. Every time I know we're studying English, like my interest grows more and more, and I was good at English like from like the from that time,
Hmm.
and it was then like in the first year, I was like 13 probably 14. Like okay, now I think I want to do something with English as a career. It could be teaching, it could be anything. I just want to use this language for for the rest of my life. It was like, I loved English. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think it comes from that year. That's the and especially that teacher. Like I owe her a lot. Yeah.
What drew you to English rather than, or in addition to French?
We had we studied French. We started studying French in Algeria like a few years before English, but it was not really like my cup of tea. Like I speak and I understand French, but it was common among like the people I know. But English was unique. English, not everyone spoke English, and um, when I started learning it, and then just it takes like go a search on the internet or something like that, you'd realize how huge it is on like a global scale. And
Hmm.
then, I mean, for a kid, I mean, I don't wasn't thinking about careers or like how what it can do for me specifically in terms of a job. But actually, even going on YouTube, you can find so much content that is actually in English if you're trying maybe to read something, even for like learning resources. It's
Hmm.
like it's immense, like the amount of, and I think that gave me the impression that English is much bigger than French, even though I didn't really realize it in terms of numbers, which it still is.
Hmm.
So yeah, and also like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just I love the language. Maybe
Hmm.
how it sounded to me, I can't really remember exactly, but it just learning it made me feel good. It did not feel like a chore. I loved it.
Hmm. Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful,
Mm.
and I hope all of our listeners feel the same way as well.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I'm trying to just get the passion across.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I mean, as you probably know, many students struggle to stay motivated when they're learning English. So, what helped you to keep going, both in middle school and when you were at university as well?
I think just taking it easy and learning any language is a long process. Maybe
Mm.
some people don't want to hear this, but it actually is. The language is not something that is like the size of a book, and you read it and you finish, and then yeah, you speak the language. It takes a bit more than that, and something happened to me early on that was like really frustrating, and because I was learning English at school, which is not enough to like it doesn't give you like the skills to read beyond, way beyond what you're studying.
Hmm.
And what I did was I went to a local library in the my hometown, and these are the books I got. No joke. I got um, um, what is it? Romeo and Juliet.
Hmm.
I couldn't understand a thing.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I got Hard Times by this is like my probably first year of studying English.
Uh-huh.
Hard Times by Charles Dickens, and for Hard Times for specifically, I could not get through the first page without looking at the dictionary for like 10, 15 times, I think. Yeah, it was frustrating, and like it's kind of demoralizing. Like I thought I spoke English very well. No, no,
Uh-huh.
actually, correction. It was not my first or second year. I had studied English for 4 years at the time, but just
Uh-huh.
school English. Yeah, I
Hmm.
was in secondary school. No, no, just correction there. And it's like, oh, I thought I was good. I mean, this is awful. And I did not finish. I did not go beyond the first page. And there's a word I
Hmm.
remember from that page is the word monotonous. It's like
Uh-huh.
I know boring. I don't know monotonous. It just yeah, help me out here. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
and after that, I realized that actually, if you want to read, it's better to get something from modern literature. It tends
Hmm.
to be easier.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that, and also, just getting back to the question you asked me, like how to stay motivated. So like get something they actually can get through. Maybe
Hmm.
I think YouTube is very accessible if someone is trying to learn through watching. If you're watching like vlogs or things like that, sometimes that those tend to be easier. It's
Hmm.
far easier than listening to like a court proceeding, for example.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not even interesting for learning.
Hmm.
But yeah, and realizing that actually it is a process. So if you're not there in 6 months, it's not your problem. It just takes time. We all from childhood to like since to the time we're adults,
Hmm.
and all that time even still learning our own mother tongue. So it didn't take 1 year or two. So it's still
Yeah.
like updating every time. Maybe we stop feeling it from the age of like 4 or 5.
Hmm.
But yeah, and so imagine like a second language, and it is a big undertaking. So pat
Yeah.
yourself on the back and just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we all need to understand that learning a language is a marathon, not a sprint. And I think you touched on this point as well. There isn't kind of one English. There is the English that you speak with your friends and your family and at work. But when you come to a higher education institute, the language of academia is different because you've never seen it before. You've never used it before. So obviously there will be that learning period as well. But I guess if kind of like you said, if you just set achievable, realistic goals and targets, then you'll get there in the end. Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
definitely. Um, so you finished at university and then you moved to the UK. So how did you feel about using your English in real life situations for the first time?
Okay, well, it actually starts at the airport as early as that. Can you believe it? You, it is a shock, not gonna lie. And at university, I was one of the top students, so it's not like I didn't know English, but that feels like that Charles Dickens novel all over again. Not to the
Hmm.
same extent, but it's like, oh, I, this is conversational English that I am not really familiar with, and then you
Hmm.
feel it. And all these years, actually, the only place where I could speak English was in the classroom. As
Okay,
soon
yeah.
as you step out, well, you speak Arabic, maybe
Hmm.
French occasionally, but that's it.
Hmm.
You never have to use it for like you know um, to do something or to ask for something or like whenever whatever you're doing. Maybe you're participating in class. It's something to do with phonetics or linguistics or maybe literature,
Hmm.
but it's not about like say like you're at the borders and it's like it's asking you. about the agent is asking you about your passport and what's the reason for your visit. I
Mm-hmm.
can still I can answer these questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it feels a bit weird. It's like no, now it's real. Now I'm actually using it to communicate. This is like
Mm-hmm.
real life. It's not practice.
Mm-hmm.
So that and also like when in shops or like then depending on the region you're from you visit in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
then you get the realization that what you're studying in your country in secondary school or even at university, I realized that we were being taught an idealized sort of English
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it's actually not in use in the UK
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
of the for example for the like north of England,
Mm-hmm.
I was not aware of the accent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just like this is not something we were taught. And the example of this is that when we were at uni and you do phonetics, the when you're sitting, let's say, for a phonetics test or an exam at university,
Mm-hmm.
it is measured according to the Oxford or Cambridge Dictionary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you transcribe the word other than that, you actually have a wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
So you see what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
And then yeah, and then like it takes some getting used to. And for my specific case, I did not. I watched more of the American English content than British.
Mm-hmm.
So there had to be some adjustments that, especially and not easy ones sometimes because it's been years of using the same language over and over again, and then now you have to change, replace some words. Words
Mm-hmm.
like, for example, queue. I used to
Mm-hmm.
say line,
Okay. Yeah.
and the supermarket I said cart. I even asked someone, remember at a supermarket, like,
Yeah.
ah, excuse me, where can I find the cart? And he was looking at me, and I was gesturing with my hand. I said, like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
pushing something. It's like, oh, you mean trolley? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. I probably don't know what you mean, but exactly. If you seem to know what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like things like that, and uh, yeah, like it's just I think this was one of the biggest realizations that there are actually Englishes even in the UK,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and uh, this is I'm talking about regions, and also an awareness that I did not have is when you speak English,
Mm-hmm.
it depends on where you are. I think you've touched on it like just in where you're asking the question. You
Mm-hmm.
don't speak the same way at university and outside. It just it comes down to the maybe the grammar you use sometimes, the vocabulary you use. Because if you use something, for example, that you would use at university and then you use it outside, maybe you're out with friends uh, in a pub, coffee shop, or something, it
Yeah.
will feel weird
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it's too formal for the setting. So
Mm-hmm.
that was huge for me as well because I just spoke English. I did not have like, okay, you speak like this here, and when you're here, you speak in this way and that way, and yeah. So that was a big update.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine because you've learned you theoretically you have learned English back home, and then you arrive in the country that speaks that language, and it all goes out of the window. The accent is different, what you were expecting. The grammar is sometimes messed up. The vocabulary is different than you expected. So you touched on it a little bit. There was those situations where you were not understood or they didn't understand you. You kind of gestured of a cart or a trolley, and that's when they understood
yeah.
you. But how did you deal with those moments when you weren't understood or they didn't understand you? I mean, you can't just speak louder, you know. You yeah. So what other tactics or strategies did you use?
The strategy that I would use the most is describing the thing. So it's either by like gestures or maybe just other words.
Mm,
If I didn't gesture with my hands like that, I want and I need a trolley, I would probably say like, yeah, like the cage thing with wheels at the bottom with handles, you put your stuff inside.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm
So I would if it's not non-verbal, you just like, yeah, I have to describe it. Like,
Yeah.
and that works actually.
Yeah, just like giving the definition, and then people look
Yeah.
at, yeah, okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Um, So you mentioned earlier that you had some time in hospitality before joining ESL. So what did your time in hospitality, what did it teach you about communication and working with people from different backgrounds?
So this hospitality role specifically, I was working at reception at a hotel. So we
Hmm.
would get a lot of tourists because we're in Manchester and it gets a lot of tourism because of football.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And a lot of the fans who come from OB countries like sometimes Iceland or so like those are like big groups coming from Iceland and as well as anywhere from the world. Like it would be the Middle East, it would be just Asia, and sometimes when they come to the front desk to ask for something, I
Hmm.
could see like they ask like with difficulty. Like sometimes it doesn't get across to the point that I have to use Google Translate. So they speak into
Hmm.
it, they translate, and then I do like the same. But
Hmm.
sometimes when we can have like a common ground where they can understand me and I can understand a little bit of what they want,
Hmm.
it basically it just goes like giving them some time just to maybe formulate the sentence or like try to kind of come up with the meaning with them at the same time.
Hmm. Hmm.
And sometimes even when they say something, because I studied English as a third language, I realized that sometimes people speak English but in the structure of their own language, and
Hmm.
sometimes it mistranslates.
Hmm. Hmm.
So like sometimes I have like, oh, is this what you mean? It's like, oh no, I don't mean that. And then like we work from there until we find like what they mean.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure our listeners would sympathize or empathize with you, certainly in those situations of, like, I guess you have been in that situation before when you want to say something but you can't really formulate it. So you know their issues, you know their problems, so you can just try to lead them towards what they're trying to say. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
just remembered an example. There was someone who called the front desk,
Hmm.
and she kept saying silver.
Hmm.
And then it's like, silver? Sorry, what do you mean? And she did not speak like much English. And like in hotels and things like that, they're like members tiers. Like it's usually like
Oh.
it would be
Hmm.
like classic, silver, gold, and so that's what I thought. It's like, but she's just calling and they're saying silver. And at least that's what I heard. And then after one try, two, like probably five tries,
Hmm.
and she said shoes. It's like, oh,
Oh.
did you mean slippers?
Ah.
And it's like, oh, I see. So yeah, this is kind of an example of like working towards the meaning together. And
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, it came in handy.
Well, yeah, you were probably not in a position to give her silver, I imagine.
No, no, certainly not.
Uh, so, um, we've talked about this a little bit so far, but what role do you think confidence plays in learning and speaking English?
I, in my experience, it plays a big role. It
Hmm.
held me back for a few years, to be honest, because when when I was at university, and sometimes I know the answer.
Hmm.
Say the lecturer is asking a question, and then I know the answer, and I want to say it. I swear to you, like I will feel my heart beating out of my chest. Not because I'm afraid to get the answer wrong. It's because I'm afraid to make like a grammatical blunder or something. And
Hmm.
it's in class, so I was so anxious about it. Like, so what I would do is just like repeat the sentence in my head many times, and then just muster the courage and then just say it because I was thinking like, oh, if I get it wrong, then other people may mock me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because oh, you're in university now, and then you make this kind of a mistake. So I felt like the judgment, not that anyone did it before, but it just
Hmm.
like it was kind of that was my thinking.
Hmm.
So after a while, it's like okay, well, I mean, if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. It's just I don't think I'll be ever able to speak 100% perfect 100% of the time. I,
Hmm.
as long as I make myself understood, that's the most important. So like confidence is huge. and I would advise anyone, it's like, yeah, you're gonna make mistakes, so it's not a problem.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you communicate the idea that you're trying to get across, if it's grammatically correct, if it's not grammatically correct, it doesn't really matter as long as the function has been achieved by the end of it. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, sorry, just to continue on the same point, like, but I think when I moved to the UK, I think I like got a boost in confidence, to be honest. Like, it comes from two things, I think. Speaking constantly, and also sometimes I speak to people, let's say like from England, and I make mistakes, but there's no judgment. There's nothing.
yeah.
So like I think so it made me think like, well, it's actually fine. So like now even if I make a mistake, I don't care. Like I'm more confident, way more confident than let's say 10 years ago.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Very good. Well, now you're using English every day. You're helping students here at ESL. So, what do you enjoy most about helping those students who come to reception?
Um, in terms of like from like a linguistic or language perspective, it's just like kind of I see myself like if say there's someone is trying to explain something and maybe they're struggling. It's like I sympathize and it's like yeah I've been there as well. So like it makes me feel good. Like now I've learned English well enough to be able to help people who are still like maybe need like some help with it. Not in teaching them the language or anything, but just helping them get something sorted. And I think, yeah, just I mean, ultimately, this is what I wanted to do, like something with English. Like now that I've learned enough, I would say, I'm
Hmm.
happy to be able to use that to help other people.
Hmm. Um, is there anything though that you still find tricky or surprising about English?
Um, a few things, but I must say it's the still the prepositions.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, not in terms of like using them in like say on the table or on the wall or at the hospital. It's just how they change meaning.
Hmm.
Sometimes with those phrasal verbs, it's still a bit tricky. It's like maybe I just misplace it and then the meaning just goes completely in a different direction. So
Hmm.
that sometimes happens. Other thing is maybe some regional accents or even like dialects sometimes. That's because I haven't been around people who speak in those accents or dialects for like enough periods of time. But
Hmm.
yeah, I would say like yeah, these two things are the main ones.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
But it is relatively easygoing in Manchester, though, yeah?
yeah, I'm used to it now. I'm used to yeah. It's now I'm mint.
Okay.
The
Buzzing, buzzing. That's good to hear.
buzzing. I'm buzzing now.
Um, well, going back slightly to your past and when you were studying English back in Algeria, if there was something you could go back and give to your younger self, some advice about learning English, what would you give?
I used to be obsessed with having a good accent
Hmm.
because to me it seemed like if you don't speak with an American accent, then your English is not good.
Hmm.
And I convinced myself of that by thinking that. But I don't think it matters that much as long as you pronounce the sounds as they're supposed to.
Hmm.
I think that's all that matters. And the fluency, this is the biggest thing I think. It comes from actually starting early on to train yourself to think in the language.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
cannot do it from like just a beginner level. It needs to be like a bit further down the road.
Hmm.
But the because if you think about your native language, you do not think in another language and then you translate in your head and then you say it. That takes a long time and it's very inefficient. Which, like thinking in a language that you're learning seems like so strange, but it actually isn't. Like it's just a skill that you can train yourself to do.
Hmm.
Just it takes some time, but it's actually doable.
Mm.
And when you start doing that, it actually makes speaking way easier because it just it just flows. Takes some practice, but it's just I think this was probably the biggest realization, and I think I got it from like a YouTube video. I think there's some series of uh, learning English on YouTube, and this was one of the advice that they gave me,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I helped me immensely.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a really good point because language is just more than words and sentences put together, but it also conveys ideas, emotions, morality, things like that. So if you're just translating word for word, then you are really losing a whole context behind some phrases or some sentences. So it is about thinking in that language, sleeping, eating, hearing in that language as well. So hopefully those students we have here at ESL are not just using the language in the sessions here, but when they go outside at home as well, because that's one of the quickest, easiest, most efficient ways of improving your language. Um, so you're obviously quite proficient now in using English. So what is one small habit students can build that will help their English improve over time?
But something else that helped me, like, and it was a habit because I used to carry a pocket-sized dictionary.
Hmm.
I, and yeah, it was with me like the whole time.
Uh-huh.
But I it helped me at the time, to be honest. But now, yeah, I'm not sure if I still recommend that. But however, I think a daily habit is just something that helps a lot is learning the at least like the names of or the nouns of things that you encounter every day.
Hmm.
Yeah, like because this is why I'm kind of going against like what I was doing because if you pick a dictionary and you learn words at random, you will learn words that you will never use.
Of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, this is why I probably like say do that with like a grain of salt. Well, for people who live in England, I think it's a the biggest advantage you can have because English is being spoken and you can use it all around you all day if you want.
Hmm. Hmm.
And what I was doing to simulate that is just to watch as much content as I could, like on the internet. And this is not like sometimes I didn't even understand most of what was being said. I would
Hmm.
watch series that are in English and dubbed in Arabic, and at some point like I didn't understand like completely 100% what they were saying. But that simulates the immersion that we have in the UK.
Hmm.
So if you are here, it's actually a big advantage. So maybe as a habit, just join meetups or of any interest. It doesn't have to be English. You have to put yourself in a setting where you will be using it constantly.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a very good point there. So, especially here on the Manchester campus, we have the games afternoon. So, if any
Yeah.
students want to, have a fun environment where they are still using English, then they are very much welcome to come along. Um, so we've got just a couple more questions before we finish up. But there was one thing that I really wanted to ask you, and that is, do you feel like learning English has changed the way you see the world, or even changed the way you see yourself?
I think so because what now that like I speak English, I can I do have access to things that are written in English. I can read English literature,
Hmm.
American literature. Um, you can have access to, let's say, news channels that are like English speaking. Basically, what I'm trying to say, like, just content that's in English and from all uh, aspects of life. And if you have access to that, then you have access to like a perspective of people who speak this language, which can sometimes be different from my perspective.
Hmm.
And this is like because when I was speaking about English as a language, but as any language, it's more than that. It's also culture.
Hmm.
And then if it, exposes you to another culture, then it actually it it's kind of an out of body experience where you're looking at yourself from outside.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like you'd see like it could be about anything really. Like for example, uh, before I moved to England, I was not into trying other cuisines,
Hmm.
and now I do. Was like from everywhere. So like because I can go to YouTube and watch recipes about like the English speaking about making a dish from this and that culture. If I didn't speak the language, you wouldn't really be able to experience that.
Hmm.
And yeah, this is about food, and it's about so many other things. You see like other ways of living.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so because I'd say I was living like a certain way, there's a certain way of doing things, and then
Hmm.
now I can see other ways of doing the same thing, maybe just
Hmm.
a bit different. And then
Hmm.
I think it's a very, it enriches your life. You could see like there are other ways of doing the same thing. I could
Hmm.
use I don't know, food as like a analogy, or even like actually, um, like the way people work in the UK and like in Algeria, and we could go on and on about like every aspect of life. So it's good to see like something parallel to your culture.
I think that's a very, very good point because, like, no matter how similar the UK and Algeria is, if I went to live in Algeria, there would be things that are different. The the religion, the language, the culture is different, and by learning the words for things, I would just be opening up my mind, my body to things that it has never been exposed to before, and hopefully that would make me a more complete person.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it just just different
Mhm.
in a good way. Now
Yeah.
I drink tea differently.
Well, that kind of leads me on to our final part because usually we finish up these podcasts with some quick fire questions. And I guess the first question would be, are you a coffee or are you a tea person? But I think I know the answer already.
Uh, no, I'm gonna have to go with coffee, but I have to explain something about tea. I don't know if you
Hmm.
have time.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So I'm a coffee first. I drink tea, but well, a few years ago, I used to think that it's very strange to put milk in tea,
Hmm. Hmm.
and for the reason that we only put mint and tea and water. Like this is how we make tea. So it's like, and this just ties into like what I was just saying. It's like other ways of doing the same thing. It's just like different, and you have to experience the same thing in different way. Like,
Hmm.
but now, guess what? I put milk in my tea. Yeah, I'm converted.
Hmm. Okay, all right. I'm sure the English people out there are pumping their fist that they've had another convert. Okay. You mentioned earlier about football. The guests in the hotel were coming here for football. So I guess I should ask you: Are you a United or are you a City person?
I I'm gonna have to go with United.
Hey, there we go. That
Yeah,
is the only
exactly.
correct answer to that question.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to go with history and glory.
Okay, rather than short-term success. Yes.
I didn't say that.
Okay. I think you mentioned earlier that maybe your least favorite word was in Charles Dickens of monotonous. But what do you think is your favorite English word?
My favorite English word. It has to be stupendous.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. And for those people who are listening and don't know what that is, can you give us a little explainer on what stupendous means?
Do you know the meme by I forgot his name. He's a boxer. It was asked about some sweets, and it's like it's some stupendous confectionery. Are you familiar with it?
Oh, that is
I,
probably Chris Eubank, I think,
yeah,
maybe.
exactly. Yeah, that's him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's actually just referring to that. It's not actually my favorite word, but stupendous means something like great or amazing, like to like a great extent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Uh, I'm gonna have to pick one here. 'Cause I haven't thought of it before, but like the word love, but not as and like the usual sense of it, but it's the northern sense of it. I find it
Mm-hmm.
very endearing when people call you that.
Mm.
It's very nice. It's
Hmm.
like when are you all right, love? And I think that's yeah. And you don't learn that at school. Even my
Hmm.
teacher doesn't know that.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah, I found it's
and,
really nice.
and it's so versatile, it doesn't actually describe, you have a living relationship with the person. It's just a nice, friendly greeting that can be used for everybody, every age, every sex and gender. It's, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Mm,
So I'll pick that.
okay, all right, good. Okay. We've got another question now of what is your favorite Algerian dish?
It's gonna have to be couscous. Have you tried it before?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
not talking about the salad. I have to be a purist here. It's- it's-
Okay, all right.
yeah, so it's the couscous and it's steamed,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's topped by vegetables and meat of your choice,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna have like and the stock as well, because you cook the meat and the vegetables in some stock. And then like you kind of put that stock on it, so it's not too dry and eat it. We have
Mm-hmm.
this every Friday because Algerian weekend is Friday and Saturday,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and it's I would say it's a national dish.
Okay, well,
So
I hope our listeners are taking that on board and
yeah, you should try it.
they're cooking it already. Um, so this is going to be the last question now, and hopefully it shouldn't be forbidden on this type of podcast, but we're not talking about English. We're going to talk about another language. So what is another language that you would like to learn next?
Uh, Italian.
Okay, and why is that?
I don't know. It just sounds nice. Like so I studied French because you have to, English in school as well. I did also
Hmm.
Spanish in secondary school because I did foreign languages. Like a, it's called a stream. So you either go do sciences, STEM, or you do like arts and humanities. And
Hmm.
the specific one I chose was like a languages, so it has Spanish in it. And so now I feel like I don't want to learn a language just because a lot of people speak it because I speak a little bit of some of those languages already.
Hmm.
But Italian is just like when I hear Italian speak, it sounds nice, sounds like kind of musical, and it's just like and it doesn't take a lot of effort. It's not like I'm learning it from zero because if you speak French and a little bit of Spanish, there's a lot of common ground because they're Latin languages, so
Hmm.
it kind of gets you like a bit of a head start. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's Italian for now.
Okay. Well, we have some Italian speakers on campus, so I'm sure they'll be very happy with your answer there.
All right, wow, can't wait to meet you.
All right. So, Yassine, thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast.
Thank you for the invitation. It's
Oh,
been a pleasure.
you're very, very welcome, and I'm sure your journey has been inspiring for our listeners, and I know that many of them will actually see themselves in the stories that you've given. So, thank you for everything you do, and
Thank you.
see you at reception soon.
Oh, I'll see you.
All right then. Bye. Thank
All
you,
right.
Yassine.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye.